On That Note with Parker Whirling. We got Sophia Taite from Jaguar Glass, an indie rock band here in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for coming on the pod. You got Zombie Ants, the new single, out right now. It's a banger.
Thank you.
When it came out, I had a lot of people on my feed sharing it, and I saw the cover, and I was like, okay, I got to check this out.
Oh, amazing.
So I went and listened to it and loved it. It's so weird and dancey, a lot of cool sounds, and the production is really tight. It's very clean, really right up my alley.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you for having me on the podcast today. I'm super glad to be here. So
of course.
Appreciate all those kind words.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here as well. But before we get into that, we always like to start with a couple of albums you picked from my record collection. And you picked two. You picked two of maybe my favorites of all time. I didn't lead you to them either. Out of the whole collection, you gravitated towards these. So I'm excited. What can you tell us that you picked from this collection here?
Yeah. So, well, also you have a really great selection, so it was hard to make a choice. But I picked In Rainbows by Radiohead, which is probably my desert island album.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to this is a crazy thing to say because there's so many good records out there, but if I was stuck on a desert island and I could only listen to one record, I could get away with doing In Rainbows, and I would be such a happy camper. Nude is just one of my favorite songs of all time. It's just so visceral, and just the whole album front to back, they're I feel like they really hit a stride in that album of the melodic soundscape that they had. And then obviously their riffing and production is always crazy, but they're just so many emotional bangers. I don't know, just love that one. And then I chose Revolver because another also great contender for Desert Island. There's a lot of Beatles records that I really love. This one has a lot of great ones on it, like Eleanor Rigby, and which is obviously kind of a fan favorite. But yeah, I think that they kind of were really psych rock was kind of starting with the Beatles. So
pretty much.
It feels like a kind of callback to the, original, where psych rock kind of has its roots,
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's the genesis of it. To me, I'm sure there's some guy out there that's actually it was some obscure artist you've never heard of that did it before the Beatles. But
yeah,
when you think about huge albums that were, widely received, I think you got to go with Revolver. It's funny that you picked not only just two amazing albums, but from my favorite bands, but my favorite albums from my favorite bands.
Oh, really?
Yeah, literally. Yes. Radiohead is probably my favorite band ever. That's at least kind of the pick that I've had for a long time. And In Rainbows is my favorite album by them, meaning it might be my favorite album of all time. So that's awesome you picked that. And then Revolver is probably my favorite from the Beatles. I don't know if it's necessarily their best. You could say it's maybe Abbey Road or something else. But
yeah, I would say I also really I know White Album is a little crazy.
Yeah.
But I do love there are a lot of songs on there that are amazing. And I think my current favorite Beatles song has been She Is Leaving. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really kind of old school sounding one.
Yeah, God, I just love that tune. Which I just had to mention it because that one's not on this record. But yeah, I don't know. I go through phases with the Beatles of which album I'm kind of listening to a lot.
Yeah.
Which is easy to do with a discography like theirs.
So expansive.
Yeah.
I need to get back into them. I mean, they're just kind of always there, but it's rare that I go and choose to listen to them. And every time I do, it feels like I've kind of dipped back into a well of inspiration. Yeah. It's oh man, in the 60s you could create some really timeless music, and I don't know, it's almost like a masterclass in songwriting, whereas
absolutely
Radiohead can feel that way as well, but it's almost their songwriting is so far out of reach sometimes. It just feels so alien that I don't know how to grasp it. But production wise, especially In Rainbows, everything is so, there's nothing out of place.
Mm-mm.
Everything is so like there'll be just a bass line, and that's all that should be there.
Yeah.
It feels perfect.
They are so genius with a use of space, like when to take it up and when to like let it breathe. And I just like wish I could, I'm like, their brains, like all collectively as like a hive mind of all of them, is just like, wow, they really craft some really amazing stuff. And I relate to your feeling about their songwriting feeling a little like unreachable sometimes. So, but the Beatles are kind of, I mean, genius songwriters, but they kind of like do it in a way where it's just such a nostalgic, they just have such a nostalgic way of crafting songs, which obviously maybe we feel that way because, you know, we've grown up with it and like they're a classic at this point. But I think that it's really cool that their songs can still stand on their own legs after so long and people can still find inspiration from it. I mean, that's a crazy legacy, you know? So
it's very impressive.
We're just talking about our Roman Empire over here.
I know, pretty much. That's what this whole podcast can become if we let it. But why don't we get into Jaguar Glass, your music? The new single, Zombie Ants, is incredible, like I was talking about. It kind of does give me a bit of a, like, Body Snatchers from In Rainbow's feel to it.
Nice.
That's something about just, like, the danceability of it. But I'm curious with this song, you know, I'm wondering how you feel now that it's fresh off its release, because this came out 3 days ago now,
literally 3
as we're recording it, you know. So what's the feeling now? I know there's a lot of build up before the song comes out, and then when it comes out it's like this weird disassociative feeling of like, oh, now people can actually listen to it. So where are you at right now with it?
I think I'm just really excited. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of buildup, and I would say the past 2 weeks, we've just been doing tons of prepping, and we made a music video, and there was a lot of work involved with that, and all this kind of other stuff. But I've just been really excited because we had our first show in June, and we played this song at the show, and like everyone was like, when is Zombie Ants coming out? When is Zombie Ants coming out? Like even my family was texting me like, are you going to drop that? Like, drop it now. Like, can I have it early? You know? So I'm just really happy because everyone's been receiving it really well. And just feel like we can just let it go out into the world and have its own life. So I think with the first song that we released, I hit that more dissociative kind of thing a little bit. But this release, so far, I mean, it's only been 3 days, but I've just been excited. Yeah.
Well, it's awesome, and congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm curious, you just mentioned your previous song that you released earlier this year. What's been maybe a lesson or two you learned from that release that you applied into this next release?
So I would say creatively, just the act of letting go. And this is the first serious project that I've ever been a part of. So for me, I feel like there was a lot of build up that I was making for myself of like, oh, this is the first thing, you know? And then once it was out, I kind of was just like, oh, yeah, it's out, whatever, you know? And I think the act of just letting go has made me feel a little bit more calm this time, and also just seeing, you know, what things we're doing well of like promoting and, you know, how, you know, all the behind the scenes stuff of like, what did we learn from our socials posts and like all the boring stuff too. But, yeah, I would say the act of letting go, because that's really hard when you put so much energy into making something. You really want people to receive it a certain way, and you don't really have control over that once it's out. So yeah, I would say that's the main thing.
Yeah. It is weird when you have exactly what you think is the way people should be receiving it or listening to it, and it really is completely out of your control. And like, you can push it all you want in a certain way, but then, I mean, that even just goes down to like, if you put out a new song, but people still enjoy your old one more, it's like, well, wait, I worked so hard on this new one, but it's like you don't really get the say. And in a way, it's nice when you do get to separate yourself, and you just get to a point where you're so used to doing it for yourself, and then anybody who enjoys it, that's just like a bonus.
Totally. Yeah, and just enjoying the process of making it, putting it out, and then letting it have its life, and trying to enjoy each part of that process equally.
And this is your first sort of project, first real project.
Yeah.
How does it compare to maybe any expectations you had for the first project? Because that can be a weird thing to all of a sudden be. I mean, I know you've been involved in music for a long time.
Yeah.
But how does this compare to maybe how you thought it would be?
Honestly, I think way better.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, and I think really all of that is just due to my bandmates. Everyone else in my band has been in many projects before or is in multiple projects. So, and all of us are in the music industry in a different capacity. And I think that, it could be really crazy and scary, but it's not, because we just all have each other's back and we work really well together as a team. And not everything is just like pinned on one person. We really share the load, of everything. And they kind of have done this before a little bit more. So I kind of just lean on them for like, if I'm ever feeling anxious about something or whatever. And, and then I think in a way that also gives me a fire, because it's my first, a serious project. So that the group can benefit from that too. But yeah, just my teammates basically.
Yeah. Has there been anything that they've taught you along the way, since they've been in other projects and done that kind of thing more?
I think that, so I would say just being intentional about everything that we do. Intentional to the point where, you are caught up in all of the details, which really can make a difference, when it comes to something silly like what the link in our bio is looking like, or something more important like, how much time we're really making sure that all the production sounds are right, and just like doing things the right way and really being honest about the art that we're making, while at the same time just committing, and just being like, all right, this is the song, this is the idea. So finding like a good balance between being really intentional and methodical in how we approach everything, and also being in the habit of committing and making creative decisions, I think is something that I have been learning from them a lot, and we're all learning together. So, yeah.
It is a constant learning process.
Yeah, of course.
And there's something funny about, I couldn't agree more about being intentional, making sure that everything is exactly how you want it to be. I mean, that has been over the last couple of years a word that I keep going back to, not just with music, but with like the way I choose to spend my day, the people I choose to spend my time with. Like, everything comes back to intention. But then sometimes, like the song, you said you were listening to a couple of my songs on the way here, and you mentioned Gumball, which is the most listened to one, that I put pretty much zero intention into. Like, I didn't promote it at all.
Yeah.
I didn't do it on a Friday, like New Music Friday. I didn't tell anybody it was coming out. Yeah. I just put it out, and like everything, it was like the least money I spent on a song.
Yeah.
And it just did way better. So it's like, it's funny how you can want to be completely intentional with everything, and then sometimes you're like, whatever, you kind of throw it away a little bit, and that ends up being something that does really well. And who really knows, maybe there's just some naturalness to that coincides with the intention.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's so funny how that works sometimes, or you're like, you put a bunch of intentionality into promoting something, and then maybe it doesn't work, and then you don't, and then it does work. So I don't know what the secret to that sauce is. I'm sure.
We never will.
Yeah, for
We've
sure.
done 214 episodes of this, and I still don't know exactly. But that, it would be boring if we knew exactly what it was, I guess.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for artists who want to start their first project or start their band but don't know how to navigate finding people, or what, even if they do have a band, like how to navigate that dynamic, that can be kind of intimidating?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say constantly put yourself in the spaces that you want to be in. So whether that be venues that you eventually want to play at, or like studios that you eventually want to record at, or things like that, like find a way to annoyingly insert yourself into a space and just be a person who's around and find people who are better than you and more skilled than you at their instruments, at writing, at production, at whatever it is that you're trying to do, and surround yourself with those people, and you will just sponge it all up. And through doing that, then you'll find your people, and you will find or if you already have your people and you're kind of trying to figure out how to be a better artist or a better band leader or a better collaborator in whatever space that you're doing, you'll just learn from, they say that the five people you surround yourself with are like the person you're most like, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's true even when it comes to this, even when it comes to being an artist.
Yeah, absolutely. So. That's perfect advice. Kind of learning by and associating by osmosis, inserting yourself into these venues or these studio spaces and just around people, and there's a line where you're being kind of crazy with it.
Yeah,
being
for
weird.
sure.
No,
there are boundaries for sure. But, I would say people are more kind and understanding and want to help more of the time. Mm-hmm. So if you just live your life based off of that assumption, whether or not it's actually true, I think it kind of things can work out with some patience and being aware and being a kind person. Like everyone is gonna you're always gonna get a positive response. It may not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it will happen if you just stay patient.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're giving me so many clips to use for this podcast. This is awesome.
Yay.
I'm also curious, you work at Maze Recording Studio, which is great. Do you also work at the Eastern and The Masquerade?
Yeah.
Cool. Are you doing sound engineering there, like front of house stuff?
Yeah. So by trade, I'm an audio engineer and producer.
Cool.
I'm completely freelance, and one half of my job is that I record bands and mix bands. And then the other half of my job is that I work at venues, doing front of house monitors. I also tour for our acts.
Cool.
Doing engineering and playback and all that kind of stuff for them as well. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So, okay. I've got a lot of questions about that because, typically we have artists on here and that's pretty much their sphere. That's what they do. They're not really branching outside of that. So as somebody who does both, which came first for you in terms of what you maybe had a passion for? Was it the songwriting, artistry part of it, or maybe the more, is it left brain or right brain that's more technical? Mm-hmm. The more technical side of it.
I think right brain is more technical.
Right brain.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would definitely say being an artist and, being a musician and writing songs came for me first. The interest in engineering and producing didn't come until I was very early college. So 18, 19. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to find a way to always be involved in music, no matter what my artist and creative life was looking like. And I went through a long series of events and then started interning at a studio. and I just fell in love with being a part of the creative process. And yeah, now I'm here still doing that. So yeah.
What's something that somebody might not know about what it's like to be either, being a mixing engineer in the studio and then also on the live side doing front of house?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say that maybe people might know this, but I guess it's different when you're working it, is that, a good engineer really can make or break a show, really can make or break a song. And so you kind of have a responsibility whenever an artist trusts you with their art in any way to really try and make it better and, expound on what they've done and, make the show as great as possible or make the song sound as good as possible. And that can be a really hard thing to kind of get into the mind of somebody of how they're making the song, and it takes lots of practice and lots of time. And I think that there is sometimes I think people are really appreciative of engineers, but there's a lot that goes into it of you kind of just you make everything happen. You are kind of the unsung hero in a lot of ways. And it's also not something that you're getting recognized for all the time. So it's really really rewarding to be a part of making something that great, and putting your creative energy or technical skills into the picture.
Yeah, you're like, in a way, you're kind of the architect of how it's all going to be perceived.
Yes.
Because they could put on the best show in the world.
Yeah.
But if the mix is crazy and like nothing, you can't hear the vocals, or the bass is like falling flat in a weird way, or the drums are like so
completely
far
takes
in the
the
back.
emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They literally cannot translate it.
Yeah.
You're like their speaker box or whatever.
Or being a monitor engineer. I think being a monitor engineer is really like maybe one of the most important jobs.
So what's a monitor engineer compared to maybe a front of house
So
engineer?
a monitor engineer is the person whose designated role is to control the sound for the artist. So either whatever whatever they hear on stage or in their in-ears, versus the front of house engineer who controls the sound that the audience hears. And being a monitor engineer is really important because or being good at it is like really important because you affect the artist's entire experience that night. And that affects every single part of their performance, of how they're hearing themselves, and, down to the simplicity of like, can they hear their vocal, but also down to like the more nuance, like, does their mix feel emotional and allow them to kind of like transmute in a way that they can give the emotion to the song. Same thing with being in the studio, you want to make the artist feel like your engineering is so good and so emotionally correct for what they need that they actually perform better, and not the other way around.
Yeah, you're like, it's almost like it's weirdly emotional support.
Yes.
In a strange way.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they have to be able to feel comfortable.
Oh yeah.
And open to be able to do this stuff. And like, if some people, I mean, also everybody's different. Some people want to hear their vocals probably really hot so that they can tell exactly what's going on. And some people, maybe like me, I don't need to hear every little thing in my voice because it might be distracting. And I'm sure that everybody has their own little quirks and how they want to hear something in the feedback. And also it can probably be annoying when you see everybody like they got their hands up, they still want more of whatever that you're like maxed out.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know what to give you, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, especially in the studio, you really are the experience curator for how that song is going to come to life.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool, and you can see when it goes really well, like how just how the performance and the emotionality of it changes. Because it's cool to be technical and it's cool to know what gear you're using, obviously. But I think what's more interesting is to be somebody who is really good at tapping into the emotional space of the artist and using engineering in order to get into that space even more. Because your job is to capture energy. Your job is not to record a perfect recording,
Absolutely. And working at Maze, and you were also recording at Maze, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did that feel a little bit like home field advantage kind of situation?
Oh, totally. So, for context, I have 3 bandmates, and 3 out of 4 of us in the band are producers.
That's awesome.
So we're kind of a band of producers, which is really cool. Tomas, who also happens to be my partner, he also works at Maze. And so when we're recording there, it just feels really comfortable and really easy. And we had our great friend, Keegan, who also works at Maze, kind of helping us and recording us. And yeah, it just everything felt easy because we all work there. So we know where things are. We know like what creative ideas to pull from. Feel really comfortable. Feels like home for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you ever recorded your own music at a different studio before?
In the past, I had done a lot of like background vocals and kind of did some like collaborative stuff with other people on their projects. And I had recorded at other studios. A couple in Atlanta and then like a couple like spread out, but yeah.
Yeah. And how is Maze in general? I've actually never been there. I have a lot of friends who've recorded there, but I've always wanted to check it out. So what's that studio like?
I would say it's just a gem of a place in Atlanta because it's a digital analog hybrid, meaning that we have a lot of vintage audio gear that a lot of people want to use, like some really great microphones all that kind of stuff. But we're also fully digitally integrated into Pro Tools and all the stuff. But I think, and it's really a modular space. We have a huge live room that was designed by the late Steve Albini.
Whoa.
So
no way.
The acoustics are amazing.
That's cool.
We can isolate all the guitars, and obviously we have really great choices for, amps and all that stuff. But I think the thing that I love the most about Maze is that it doesn't feel like a sterile environment.
Yeah.
Like it feels like art is being made there every time you step into the building, down to just how the live room looks, and it's really tall and we've got these beautiful windows, and there's art everywhere, and it doesn't look like I've seen some studios that are kind of just like white walls and the lighting is cool but like there's nothing else going on, which is totally fine, but it just feels really cozy, and I think that is like really the magic of that place, is that anyone can step in there and like, this feels, I'm comfortable already, I'm ready to go, let's like, I want to go to the vocal booth and put my PJs on and just like rip these vocals.
Just chill.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys did you record live like as a band, or were you doing a lot of isolated tracks for Zombie Ants?
So we did a lot of isolated tracks. Because
it does feel very like, once you said, we got a great live room, I was like, maybe they did do it in a live space, just because I think about the drums, it feels like everything's pretty blended well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, everything is recorded in the same space, so I think everything has a similar sound to it because of that. I'm pretty sure we did do the drums in the live room for Zombie Ants. We recorded that one like over a year ago now, so wow. I'm trying to remember. But Yeah, so we did a lot of isolated tracks. Tomorrow for Sure, the first song we put out, and Zombie Ants were the first 2 songs that we recorded. So we were kind of learning a lot as we went on, but we had really fleshed out demos, and we came in, we laid down drums, and then we did bass and guitars, and then vocals, and I did a lot of the synth stuff. We did some synth stuff there, and then I did some at home. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a very specific question.
Yeah.
What is all the crazy like reversed synth guitar stuff that like comes in after the chorus? I think it's like a minute and a half in. It's like it sounds like crazy bubbles or something.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It is exactly what you said. It's a bunch of reversed guitars and reversed synths. Tomas, the guitar player, is like, he has 2 pedal boards. He's really into effects.
All right, if you're still with us, there may have been some technical difficulties, but we still got our audio here. Maybe the video will be salvaged later. I'm going to do my best.
All good. We'll get it, yeah.
So we were talking about working in the studio space, right? I'm curious if you have a piece of equipment that you can't live without.
Okay, so 2 answers. There is a vocal mic at Maze, which is not mine at all, but the U47. And
yeah, that's like the classic high-end microphone, right?
The classic, there's a very limited amount of them in the world that are like as old as that one is, and it sounds amazing. It's not for every vocalist, but certainly for my vocals, I always do them on that thing.
Wow.
And
so that's what we're hearing on your songs.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, always that microphone. And that is just very coveted. And then like personal gear that I own, I would say lately, because I run a lot of vocal effects live, and I'm kind of performing a lot of it. I would say the Chase Bliss Mood pedal.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know Chase Bliss. I can't remember which one is which, but I know that every sound you can get out of that is always crazy. Yeah,
the Mood is it does a few things, but it has really cool delay and reverb, and then also kind of like a mini sampler, so you can do like mini loops and stuff on it. Not as like long form loops as like a DL4 or like the Boss looping pedal that everyone kind of knows.
Yeah.
But you can create really interesting like kind of smaller loops. And obviously I'm super inspired by Tom York. Because he's the king of doing that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do you like the Eraser, that album?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everything is so, it feels like that. It's all just these weird little chopped up repetitions.
Yeah, for sure. So that's really fun. And that's definitely something that I couldn't live without when it comes to my vocal production. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time talking about your Fire Ants, I'm sorry, not Fire Ants, Zombie Ants, and your singles that are already out. Do you have any songs coming out in the future you want to talk about?
So we are gonna have some more songs coming out. We've recorded a large number of songs. We're gonna be releasing them for the foreseeable future. And for those who know, the next song is gonna be the very first song of the set that we played for our first show.
Cool.
And I'm pumped about that. But yeah, more details on that later.
Awesome.
But they will definitely be coming out.
Yes.
Yeah, soon.
Well, keep up with Jaguar Glass on Instagram, on all the social media, so that you can be locked in when they start dropping new music. What's the tag, the Instagram tag?
Our Instagram tag is jaguar.glass.
Cool.
You can find us pretty much everywhere really easily, just Jaguar Glass.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, let's take things over to the last 5, where we're just going to do 5 quick questions.
Okay,
from this magic bowl.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm going to shuffle these around for you. Try not to get too many repeats, but we got a lot of questions in here. All right, I'll let you pick one question at a time.
Okay. This is fun. I love this. Ooh, fantasy supergroup. Oh my god. Oof. Okay. Okay. We've got Bjork.
Oh, come on.
We've got Tom York.
Okay, yeah.
We've got Johnny Greenwood. I mean, we got to have Ringo on drums. I'm not sure what everyone's playing here. Like,
yeah.
they'll
figure it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. I'm going to let them do that sorting. But most of them are multi-instrumentalist. And then, oh my gosh. I mean, maybe Paul. I mean, McCartney. I mean, I think that the songs that would come out of that whole group as like a songwriting kind of, yeah, Paul McCartney, Tom York, and Bjork writing songs together. I mean,
that would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
I can't even imagine like what Bjork would be trying to get across, and they'd be like, what are you talking about?
No,
like,
God, she's so weird. I love her.
She's so weird. I was just listening to her the other day for the first time in a minute. I'm like, yeah, maybe I need to get back into Bjork. She's always there during the winter time for me.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that would be a really sick combo. And then just have Nigel Godrich produce.
Oh, of course.
Just obviously. Yeah,
obviously. Yeah.
Did you ever listen to the one that he produced for Paul McCartney, that album?
Oh, it's been a long time, but yes. Yeah.
I forgot the name of it, but I didn't even know for years. And then somebody told me, he's like, oh yeah, Nigel Godrich produced a Paul McCartney album. And I immediately went and listened to it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's crazy. I mean, none of the Radiohead or the Smile records for that matter would sound like they do without him. So
yeah. You like the Smile?
I do love the Smile. Yeah.
It took me a minute, but I'm into them now. For a while they were kind of like, Mom, we have like, can we get Radiohead? And she's like, we have Radiohead at home. And then it's the Smile.
Nice.
That was like my feelings on them. Like they weren't quite giving me what I wanted from but I've since kind of let go of that. I like the two newer ones more than the first one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say it took, when I first heard the first album, I mean, I think I always have this experience with Radiohead albums of like the first time, it's just so much, or like anything, I mean, because it's not Radiohead, but anything Tom York and Johnny Greenwood, it's just so much information that my brain is like can't even process it the first time I listen through almost.
Yeah.
And so I always have to listen several times and kind of see how I'm feeling. And then I went to go see them live, and that did it for me. I was like,
sold out so quick too. I was pissed.
I couldn't get a ticket in Atlanta, so we had to go to New Orleans.
Wow.
Which was really fun.
That's kind of cool.
Because the tickets were like way cheaper for some reason over there.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it was almost the same price for us to just go stay there for a weekend than to like go to the Atlanta show.
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, I should have done that, I guess. I've never seen Tom York live.
That was my first
Radiohead
time.
or Smile. Yeah.
Well, they're starting to tour again, so
I got my fingers crossed, trust me.
Yeah, hopefully it's not $1 billion.
Yeah, we'll see. It probably will be.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. Let's do question number 2.
Okay, cool. Ooh, oh my God. This is hard. Okay, least favorite song or album from your favorite artist. Actually, this is not hard. Creep Radiohead. I'm sorry.
It's obvious.
It's bad. Love them. I overall just don't really like Pablo Honey. It's just not my thing. I have amazing friends who I love who love it. So, whatever, it's art. It's still at the end of the day, but it's just it's not my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like my dad would love that record.
Yeah.
Cuz he loves like Gin Blossoms and and look, I love them too, but that's not what I'm trying to get from Radiohead.
Yeah, it was just, they were still finding themselves, you know?
Yeah.
And I loved the arc, but
For
yeah.
real, the jump between that and the Bends is crazy.
Yeah, very, very crazy.
All right, question number 3.
Right. Best and worst decade of music. Ooh. Okay. So, man, this is hard. This is a hard one. I would say for me personally, best as far as innovation and songwriting and production and engineering has got to be like late 60s, early 70s. Because that's kind of when the Beatles were doing overdubbing and stuff like that for the first time. There was a lot of like the songwriting was just really amazing and kind of like getting a big amount of people on that kind of train of that kind of style of songwriting. There's just so much spark and innovation during that time. And I think and then I think worst maybe is the 2010s. Which I know I'm probably is really controversial, but I just don't think that there was there's a lot of stuff that I really loved during that time, but I just don't feel like the spark was there in the same manner. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I think 65 to 75 is a great answer.
Yes.
People forget that you can do like you can split the decade in half if you want. Because I think that's
sorry, I was like, ooh, I can't say just the 60s or only the 70s.
I know, yeah, that's tough. But
Yeah.
you said it the right way, I think, because that would be probably my answer. But also, my best is either 65 to 75 or the 2010s.
Oh, no.
Maybe that's some nostalgia there.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of when I grew up, like, getting more into the music that I liked.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to separate that. But,
don't get me wrong. I have tons of nostalgia for that time. I just don't necessarily know, like, I think just thinking, like, innovation-wise.
Yeah.
Like, I think that the early 2000s had way more of that, like, we're beginning to get into the hyper pop space and, like, that really bright kind of pop stuff. And the 2010s just felt, like, in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. And then
I don't know.
2020s is really... I feel like since 2010, maybe even earlier, I had this conversation with somebody else on this podcast a long time ago about every decade was like between the 60s and 70s, 70s, 80s and 90s. If you showed people recordings from that time period to the previous decade, they'd probably be like mind blown. Be like, how did you do this?
Yeah.
But that doesn't really happen from the 2000s to the 90s or the 2010s to the 2000s.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
it kind of plateaus.
Yep.
But I feel like what does blow people's minds is if you say, oh, this guy recorded this in their bedroom with like one microphone. And they're like, what do you mean? You're like, you didn't need a label.
Yeah.
Like they made a TikTok and it exploded and now they have this gigantic career and they own all their music.
Yeah.
And like that stuff would blow people's minds. The availability is completely different.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's super fair. I mean, that is innovation in a way of creating more of a working class kind of availability to being an artist.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
There are other ways that that's not true, but
unfortunately, there's a lot of ways that's not true. But,
yeah, for sure.
But there's hope.
Yeah. There's a glimmer there.
Yeah. And then what was the worst decade?
I guess the worst decade.
Oh, you said 2010.
Yeah, would have been the 2010s. Right. Yeah. LOL, sorry guys, don't hate me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That question is destined to get you hate no matter what you pick.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
All right, let's do question number 4, right?
Best live show I've seen. Okay. Oh man. I see a lot of shows.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay. In the past year, the best shows, I'm going to pick two. The best two shows that I've seen were Hiatus Coyote at the Eastern, and Alabama Shakes at Shaky Knees.
Yeah.
And then an honorable mention that was not in the last year was when I went to go see The Smile in New Orleans.
Whoa.
Those are probably my top 3 shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen Hiatus Cody 3 times now, and I saw Napalm by herself. And this last show was, they're always amazing, but they just really stepped it up. And then Alabama Shakes, like them having their big comeback right now. I just love Brittany Howard.
Yeah.
It was magical. Yeah.
Yeah, that show was awesome. I was kind of moving around while it was happening because I wanted to go see Vampire Weekend.
Of course.
And get a nice view for that. But I mean, her voice is unreal.
Dude.
It's unmatched.
It was definitely top 3 best live mixes I've ever heard in my life. Either. All as well, which is crazy. Like
it sounded. It's hard to do.
Yeah, at a festival. And it sounded. I was really close. Mm-hmm. I was definitely camping all day.
That's awesome.
But yeah, God.
That's a contender for one of the best albums of all time. Is Sound and Color.
Sound and Color. Yeah, easy. Yeah.
And I can't believe that came out like 10 years ago.
I know. Yeah.
What's his name? Ben. Who's the guy who produced it? Oh my God.
Oh, I was blank on his name, but it's Ben something.
Yeah.
He's so wild.
Yeah, he is. Oh my God, this is killing me.
I think he produced some of her solo stuff too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Which is also really awesome.
Yeah, I like her newer solo album.
Yes.
It's a very colorful one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's killing me. I can't remember his name. I follow him on Instagram. Whatever. He's got a cool jazz album with Pino Palladino.
Oh,
and
I haven't
Sam
listened to
Gindel.
that.
It's crazy.
Okay.
Or
I'll
Sam
check
Will,
that out.
Sam Gindel, one of the two.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely recommend that one. It's called Notes with Attachments or something.
Okay, I'll check that out.
But yeah, anyway. All right. That's a great couple of choices. Let's do the last question.
All right, last question. Who do people often say you sound like? I would say lately we've been getting a lot of Dive.
Ooh.
People have
I
said
love Dive.
Yeah, people have said we sound like Dive.
I never thought about that, but
yeah,
I hear it.
I'm trying to think of, I get like different things from a bunch of different people. Someone told me Pixies, which I'm not sure. And then
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. And then yeah, I would say Dive feels like
that is our album.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that
the other
feels
stuff
reasonable.
is not quite as dancey as like zombie dances.
Yeah, I would say that, and then I think someone said Okay Go once, which I was kind of like, yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. I don't
really know their music. I just know their videos.
I love them. Yeah, their videos are crazy. I love them. I like how like they usually use practical effects in some of their videos.
Yeah.
We definitely did that for Zombie Ants. We love
that was so
Okay
cool.
Go.
I love the music video for that. Shout out to @JimBoring.
Yes.
On Instagram. I met him at a party once.
Nice.
And I was like, oh shit, he directed that. That's crazy.
Yeah, him and Claire Adams, Clary Pop on Instagram are our creative direction team.
Very cool.
Yeah, Claire takes all of our photos and
oh cool.
Kind of they're amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Sweet. Well, that's our time here on the note. But you have some notes. Was there anything you wanted to get into that I didn't cover?
Honestly, no. I was just more trying to make sure I was prepared for anything that you asked me. So I think we're good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Perfect. Nice. First guest to bring their own notes on the podcast. I love it.
There we go. I'm a good student.
Yeah, you are. Sophia Taite from Jaguar Glass. Thank you for coming on the pod. Everybody go stream Zombie Ants out right now. Give them a follow on Instagram at jaguar.glass.
Yes.
And yeah, be on the lookout for new music soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. On that note, with Parker Whirling.